All right, I'm finna cut straight to the chase on this one. I'm gonna literally show you how to turn this particular agreement here, this TREC. Look at it. You see it? I'm gonna show you how to turn this thing step by step into. You see my We Live bag? Yes, indeed. You see this? I'm gonna show you how to turn it into this. This is a protected bag right here. This is 20K in 20 days. You dig? So, and the reason, and this is not to brag, I'm really showing you this because I want you to know how real this business is and how life-changing it can be. Facts. Listen, I'm gonna do this for basically couple different reasons. And the reason number one is because I get like a ton of DMs about the TREC. And instead of just answering all these individual questions, I'm gonna drop this video. Hopefully y'all pick up some gems in this and it adds tremendous value to what you're trying to do. All right, but quick disclosure, if you're looking for legal advice, this ain't it. Go ahead and hit the X right up at the top and just exit out of the video, because that's not what this is. What this is what we do, right? And it has worked for us, right? And outside of any legalities or anything like that, I'm not giving you legal advice. So don't even DM me about no legal advice, because guess what? I'm going to tell you, I'm not a lawyer. You need to consult with your attorney if that's what you're here for, because this ain't it, okay? What this is what we do, right? That has worked for us. And of course, this is not a science. This is something that is more of an art. And you will tweak this thing after you've done it a couple of times. You're going to tweak it to your own specifications. Every seller situation is different. So you're going to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and find what works for you and your particular seller. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. Also, I know all of y'all don't live in Texas. So you don't use a TREC, but at the same time, I have some language in this thing that's still going to be advantageous to you getting your particular goals done with any purchase agreement that you may use, okay? So now that we got all of the legality stuff out of the way, now I'm going to take you page by page. So what I want you to do is pause this video right now, go to Google, and download the TREC form. How do you do that? All you do is type in TREC, right? And then put a space 1 to 4. It's going to come up. Some kind of way it's going to come up, and you'll see the PDF of it. I would say the 2018 version is the best one, and you'll see it written at the top somewhere on there. So download it and then come right back and see me. So here's the TREC agreement. Now, the first thing you want to do, of course, is add the name, right? All right, pause the video. Listen. You see that and or sign written up there at the top? That is what protects us all. That is what keeps you from practicing real estate in a completely different capacity. And this is what allows you to be able to sell this particular agreement to another end buyer. This is everything, the holy grail. All right. From here, we move on from the address to the legal description. Remember, you can get it from your county website, HCAD. You put in type property search, put in the address, and voila. It will pop up. And then you want to focus on getting your price, title company, earnest money. We never go more than $50 on that. Now moving on to page 2, you want to click will not be amended, which can cause some issues with some surveys, but that's cool. And then you also want to check if it is or is not a part of a homeowners association. Get ready to skip this page. No, I'm playing. Listen, at the end of the day, you can read this page because it is good information to know, page 3. But at the end of the day, not that important to know, okay? All right, page 4 deals with the seller's disclosure. You want to click the 2, has not received it within 10 days. This is just a way to get out. You also want to put buyer accepts property as is. Page 5, one of my favorites. This is where you put your closing date. You always want to set it 45 to 60 days out. Be sure to check that buyer will take possession of property upon funding and closing. All right, now because we put tons and tons of contingencies in here, you're going to want to utilize this language in your special provisions. This is key. This is worth you watching the whole video by itself. So it's 2 things we're going to add in here. One is buyer to pay all closing costs. That's for one. You got to put that in there. And then survey will be optional and upon buyer's request. Now, why is this critical? Because we put all of those contingencies in there, and this one little thing can ruin your deal. You got buyers that will back out of the or want to back out of the deal because they have to pay this pop-up survey. Okay, and some buyers are cool with it, and then some buyers will make a big deal about it. It just kind of depends. Now, we put in this particular agreement that the survey is optional because the title company sometimes, when you add certain contingencies like we had before, it'll basically nullify their ability to get title insurance if something was to come up with those contingencies being in place. Okay, so, and that's not all the time. That's not all title companies. We had this issue a couple times, and then we've not had it. It just kind of depends, depending on the title company. But at the same time, just having that language in there protects you if the title company says, "Oh, you need to get a survey in order for us to give you title insurance on this or that or whatever." Okay. Another thing you want to put in here is closing to happen on or before the date listed in paragraph 9. If title work is not complete by date listed in paragraph 9, then closing will happen within a 30-day period after all title work is complete. That is killer. How do I know? Because I've dealt with the issue. This basically gives you a forever contract, right? If it's a title issue. Now, the way that works is if the title work is complete and you don't have any issues, then you're good. You're gonna close just like normal. But if it is a title issue that pops up, you have this person under contract until you get that title work complete. It's nothing worse, right? Remember, this is an emotional purchase, right? Or emotional sale. So it's nothing worse than having to go back to a seller and get more time extended onto your purchase agreement just because it was a title issue and y'all didn't get it done in time. So this protects you from that. It also protects you from if it's a probate issue, and you can also add that language in there if you want to be more specific. If it's a probate issue or an heirship of affidavit, sometimes that can take long depending on how many family members are associated with that particular property. This protects you in that case as well because, you know, once you start adding multiple family members in there, this family member may not want to sell to you. This family member may want to sell to you, and it can create all kind of problems. So this kind of protects you in that case to have a forever agreement. Whenever they sort all their issues out, we're going to close on this property, period. You want to read page 6 on your own. Make sure on page 7 that you put the buyer's and seller's address and click the amendment for lead-based paint. Then we'll move on to page 9 with our option money. Make sure it will be accredited. Put today's date, sign. Move on to page 9. That's pretty much for realtors. You skip it. And page 10 is just your receipt page for the title company. Listen, this is the cool thing about the TREC agreement. It protects the buyer on the cool more than anybody else in the transaction, even the seller. And let me tell you why. So, sales is an emotional experience, right? People sell stuff and buy stuff based on emotion. And a lot of times when sellers are selling something that they own, that they rest their heads in, they're going to go back and forth on whether or not they're making the right decision. So as a result, the TREC was basically designed to where the seller really can't back out. I mean, it is ironclad in terms of being for the buyer. And the reason why is, imagine this, and this is something good that you can tell your sellers if they ever get any trepidation or anything of that nature and you need to just explain your situation. Imagine you are getting ready to buy a property, right? You've paid for an appraisal. You've paid for an inspection. You've had your contractor, Joe friend, come out, right? All of that costs money. You've paid movers, right? You've put in your 60-day notice on your lease or your house or whatever it may be. And say, for instance, you're moving from out of town. All of that costs money. And if that seller just wakes up 24 hours before closing and says, I don't want to do the deal no more, you have absolutely no recourse. But the good thing about the TREC is you can sue them for non-performance and you will be compensated if it were to go that far. Okay?